Hello students, so today we will learn about transcription. Transcription is the process of transfer of sequence information from DNA to RNA. So simply you can say the process of formation of RNA from DNA is known as transcription. Next, the DNA strand whose nucleotide sequence is complementary to that of mRNA is called template or antisense strand. See here students, suppose we have this DNA. This was double stranded, right? It has two strands. One will start from 3 to 5 and another strand starts from 5' to 3'. Now we want, suppose this is the region where transcription will start. Okay, so here unwinding will occur because we need to separate this DNA, these two strands, to allow transcription to occur. Now out of these two strands, one strand is called as template strand, or you can say antisense strand or non-coding strands. All three words can be used for this strand, and this strand is complementary to this mRNA. Suppose this red color one, this is our newly synthesized mRNA or RNA simply you can say. So this strand, our template strand, is complementary to the RNA. But we have one more strand here, this strand. This is coding. The name has been given coding, but it does not code for anything. Okay. So this strand you can say coding strand, or you can say sometimes sense also. Okay. And this strand is our template strand, non-coding strand, or antisense strand. The other strand whose sequence is identical to that of mRNA except for T in DNA to U in RNA is called sense or coding strand. So just now I have told you this strand is called coding strand or sense strand, but it does not code for anything. Okay, and this strand was our template strand, non-coding strand and antisense strand. So the coding strand, it is identical to that of mRNA. This strand, the sequence of ATGCs will be identical, will be similar to that of this RNA that has been formed. But the sequence of this strand for the template strand is complementary to this RNA, because this template strand is forming the complementary for the RNA. It is synthesizing the RNA, so it will form the complementary, and this strand will be similar to this, isn't it? And one more information here, except for T in DNA and U in RNA, it means students, RNAs for DNA we know the nitrogenous bases were ATGC, right? But for RNA, the DNA sequence will be AUGC. Instead of thymine, which was present in DNA, in RNA, uracil will be present. U will be present, not T. So that is the difference between DNA and RNA. And so this strand, the RNA, is similar to this only because this strand is also complementary to this DNA, right? The DNA has two strands and these two strands are complementary to each other, and the DNA, the template strand, is complementary to RNA also. So this RNA and this coding strand will be similar, right? The sequence will be similar, but in coding strand, since this is DNA, we have thymine, we have T. there. And in RNA, instead of thymine, we will have uracil. Only that difference. Otherwise, these two strands are similar. Now let us see what will be the enzyme needed for transcription. The enzyme responsible for transcription in both eukaryotes and prokaryotes is called as DNA-dependent RNA polymerase. Okay, why it is DNA-dependent RNA polymerase? Since we are synthesizing RNA, so we need RNA polymerase. But this RNA polymerase, it depends on the DNA strand. It is depending on the DNA strand as a template, isn't it? It is depending on this DNA strand. So we call it as DNA dependent RNA polymerase. But we can also say it simply or more commonly as RNA polymerase also. So DNA dependent RNA polymerase, or you can say it as RNA polymerase. So we need this enzyme for transcription process. And this enzyme, it moves along the template DNA strand, synthesizing RNA in 5' to 3' direction. So this RNA polymerase will synthesize the RNA in 5' to 3' direction here in the template strand. Next, RNA polymerases differ from DNA polymerase. Okay, there's a slight difference between RNA polymerase and DNA polymerase. DNA polymerase was required in replication process. Did you remember? And RNA polymerase is used in here transcription process. So RNA polymerase, it does not require a primer. It does not require a primer to initiate the synthesis of new chain. So it does not require a primer. RNA polymerase does not require a primer to initiate the process. But DNA polymerase, it requires a primer. The site at which RNA polymerase molecule bind to accomplish the initiation is called as promoter. So the region where the RNA polymerase will bind to the DNA molecule to initiate the process of transcription is called as promoter. So you can see here this region where the RNA synthesis will start is called as promoter region. So the promoter, in addition to provide the binding site for the polymerase, the promoter also tells the polymerase where to start the synthesis and in which direction to proceed. So along with providing the site for initiation to start, it will also tell where and in which direction it should start the transcription process. The first nucleotide corresponding to the position at which transcription begins is labeled as +1 and is called as transcription start site. So the nucleotide that is present next to the where transcription begins, it is written as, it is labeled as +1 and it is called as the transcription start site. Now a single RNA polymerase is responsible for synthesis of all mRNA, RNA and transfer RNA in Eubacterium E. coli. In a bacteria, the RNA polymerase, the single RNA polymerase is responsible for synthesis of all this RNA. It will synthesize mRNA, it will synthesize ribosomal RNA and it will also synthesize transfer RNA in case of bacteria, that is E. coli. And this RNA enzyme, it can be separated into two components. This RNA polymerase can be separated into two components, that is core enzyme and sigma factor. So core enzyme, it contained various subunits, basically 5 subunits like alpha, 2 copies of alpha, then we have beta and beta dash subunit, and we have sigma factor also. So when the core enzyme is joined by the sigma factor, the resultant we will call it as holoenzyme. So the core enzymes, that is the alpha, beta, this and the sigma factor, when it joins together, we used to call it as holoenzyme, and they bind tightly to the promoter region, to the promoter sequence, and the RNA synthesis will now begin. See the diagram. Suppose this is our DNA. So this is our RNA polymerase. It contains a factor called as sigma factor that will help to initiate the process of transcription. So now this sigma factor, this RNA polymerase, first it will bind to the promoter region where the transcription process will start. For this, the sigma factor helps to bind the RNA polymerase to the promoter region. Next step is the elongation process. So the RNA polymerase will now, it will keep on adding the new nucleotide for the synthesis of RNA. It will take the nucleotide and it will keep on adding the nucleotide in this growing chain of RNA. So the elongation of RNA chain continues till the RNA polymerase reaches the terminated sequence in DNA. So now for termination, that is when the process of transcription will start, there we need another factor, that is Rho factor. So Rho factor will come and bind to the RNA polymerase and it will then stop the process of transcription. So here, after binding of this Rho factor to the RNA polymerase, the process of transcription will stop. It will terminate. So once it stops, the enzyme stops adding the nucleotide to the growing RNA chain and it will then release the RNA. So finally, this RNA is released from this site, from this region, from the DNA. So what happens? Again, let us revise. Initiation. In initiation, the sigma factor will come and bind to the RNA polymerase. This will help the RNA polymerase to bind to the promoter region. Once it binds to the promoter region, it will start the process of transcription and it will keep on adding the new nucleotide to the growing RNA chain. So this process is called elongation. Next, when the Rho factor, it will bind to the RNA polymerase, this will terminate the process of transcription and finally the RNA is released. So for prokaryotes, a single RNA polymerase was responsible for synthesis of all the 3 different types of RNA. But in case of eukaryotes, the situation is slightly different. Here we need 3 different RNA polymerase that is responsible for transcribing the 3 different classes of RNA molecules. For example, RNA polymerase 1 transcribes rRNA. RNA polymerase 2 will transcribe mRNA. RNA polymerase 3 will transcribe tRNA and other small RNAs. So these are the 3 different RNA polymerase 1, 2 and 3, which is transcribing 3 different types of RNA. Now this is important, student. See, this was our coding strand, which is not synthesizing anything. This is our template strand, this one, which is in red color. This is our template strand. Template strand will synthesize the RNA. Okay, so after transcription, we will get the RNA and the sequence of RNA will be complementary to this template strand. Suppose C is present here. In RNA, the complementary will be G. G is present here, complementary will be C. T present here, complementary is A. C is present here and the complementary is G. A is present for A the complementary will be T in case of DNA, but here since we are synthesizing RNA, the complementary is U. For G we will get A, likewise this will be the complementary. And here you can see this RNA sequence is similar to this sequence, the coding sequence. G, here also G, C, here also C, A, G, G. Now in DNA we have T here, but in RNA U is present. So that is only the difference. Rest all are identical. So this strand was for DNA, these two, and this is the RNA strands that we will get after the transcription. The sequence will be different. This is just an example.